Kimberly, you are partners with?
Rose.
Rose. Rose, you used to be married to?
Derek.
Derek. Rose and Derek have 2 children? How old are your children?
18 and 12.
Why don't you come on up front and center here?
This is the plaintiff, Kimberly DeRusha. She says the defendant is the girlfriend of her current partner's ex-husband. And boy, oh boy, she's stirring up a whole lot of trouble for her. The woman's made a number of false allegations against her. She's no longer allowed to be with her partner's 2 boys, can't go to school functions any longer, and tried to get a restraining order against her. She's been forced to hire a lawyer to defend herself from these 100% false allegations and is suing the woman for the $1,500 she had to unfairly spend. This is the defendant, Melissa. She says her fiancé has sole custody of their 2 boys. They live with her, and the aggressive and abusive plaintiff is causing them heartache, and one of the boys needed to be hospitalized because of it. She's a horrible person who she thought was going to try to kidnap the kids. She filed a restraining order, and any trouble she got into where she needed a lawyer is 100% on her. She's accused of driving an ex crazy. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $5,000 for mental anguish and lost wages.
All parties, please use your reckoning.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay. Kimberly, can you pronounce your last name?
DeRusha.
DeRusha. You are suing Melissa. You've asked to be named only by your first name for $1,500 in lawyer's fees. First, I need to understand the relationship between everybody here. Kimberly, you are partners with?
Rose.
Rose. Rose, you used to be married to?
Derek.
Derek. Rose and Derek have 2 children?
Yes.
How old are your children?
18 and 12.
Why don't you come on up front and center here? 18 and 12. Okay. And Melissa, you are now engaged to him? How long have you 2 been together?
5 years. 4,
Okay.
5 years.
Let's hear from you what happened.
So Derek and Rose had issues, of course. We had issues. All 3 of us had issues, but they were dealt with in court. There was aggressive nature between the defendant's fiance and my partner. Of course, me and Derek, the defendant's fiance, Derek, didn't like each other, which is a given, which is fine. But then the children started being brought into it. They would be asked questions like, how do you live with that? Things that, the explicits that Derek would say to them, and it just got more aggressive and aggressive. But until Melissa came into the picture, everything was settled. Once she came in, court started all over again. The children would come back and tell us about the abuse she was allowing.
What abuse?
The older one, Adam, he would tell us that his dad would grab him by the throat, throw him around, scream at him, tell him he was a disappointment, so on and so forth. The younger one said he would get thumped in the head, hit in the head if he didn't do his homework fast enough, and his dad would hit him in the side of the head with his fist, and until he cried and asked him to stop. He said that happened in 2 consecutive days.
So did you go to court?
Yes, we went back to court. The parenting coordinator, she said that Derek was being erratic and physically abusive to the children. She wanted his custody suspended or supervised visitation. We went to court. The judge said she wasn't ready to make a ruling to change custody. Then I'm assuming we went to another court case, again with more abuse. This time it was turned on us.
What does it was turned on us mean?
That I was physically abusive. I was disciplining the kids physically. And I have kids with a joint custody agreement with my ex-husband, and I've never touched my kids. And I don't touch any kid because I don't believe in it.
Okay, the kids aren't tiny. The kids are, they can speak for themselves. What are the kids saying in court?
They don't go to court.
All right, what brings us to court today? What is it that you got, that you received that caused you to hire a lawyer that's causing you to now sue about your lawyer's fees?
I got a notice of hearing on a no contact order for stalking or non-consensual sexual conduct from the defendant. So I hired an attorney
Okay.
because these severe allegations could put me in further restriction on the
Now,
children.
when you say further restriction, apparently a court had looked at the situation and decided that you shouldn't be involved in the kids' lives.
Right.
When did that happen?
That would be, it started in 2016 and finalized 2017.
Okay, and I think I might have overspoken when I said not involved in the kids' lives, because you two live together, right?
Right.
Okay, so and then the kids are with you guys sometimes?
Yes.
All right, so actually what the order says, to be more explicit, is not involved in their school life.
Discipline or their school life or extracurricular activities.
I have that order. if
And,
you-
yeah, can I see that order? And why was that order granted? What was the allegation that led to that order being granted?
The finding was that the plaintiff had visited our older son at school during after-school practice and gone and confronted him about some behavioral issues at home in front of his peers. It had a dramatic effect on him, not wanting to participate in that kind of activity anymore.
In sports?
Yes. And that was
What grade was he in when that supposedly happened?
junior in high school.
Okay.
And he had been avid in running since he was, 6, 7, 8 years old. Ran every year. He was on the cross-country team, the indoor track team, and the spring track. He's ran 13 half marathons. I mean, his mother's a runner. That's where he gets it from. I'm not taking credit for that, but he was very
And then what, he was
passionate about it.
embarrassed?
And all of a sudden,
What
he just didn't-
supposedly happened at that encounter? I mean, other than the fact that it
embarrassment for
happened?
him.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean,
yes, ma'am.
He
Your
didn't
Honor.
report it to us.
Who did
Right.
he report? Did he report it to anybody, or the school noticed it?
The school coach told the PC
That's correct.
What's a PC?
Parenting coordinator.
Oh,
Sorry.
when she talked
He,
to him.
he had stated
he
that
must have said something to the
He
parenting
said, I don't want to
coordinator.
run anymore. And that was a red flag to everyone. I'm not going to do track. I'm not going to do. And so upon further investigation to that, that's how the parenting coordinator speaking with the coach at the school.
All right, and
was
did he
present.
end up going back to track, or no, the
No, ma'am.
season's over by the time all this gets resolved? All right. Because, yeah, the judge says a significant other, Kim, cannot attend either of the minor children's events, sporting events, school events, et cetera, nor shall Kim exercise any parenting role with respect to either of the minor children. The judge wasn't happy with you.
I didn't get to testify. I was never asked any questions. And our attorney,
Were you present?
no.
All right.
Yeah, that was.
So you get this, apparently you applied for a restraining order.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you do that, and the reason that you do that is all the stuff that's written in handwriting over
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
Okay? Came to my house and stood in the street being loud while girlfriend went into my neighbor's garage demanding she see her son, my soon-to-be stepson who lives with me and his dad. I was terrified, I was paralyzed, I couldn't speak. My neighbor came out and was worried also. Kim was making hurtful remarks to my stepson about the stitches in his head from his brain surgery. What happened?
Our younger son,
The younger one or the older one?
the younger son, he had a sinus infection in the spring of last year that spread right into his brain. And it was,
my goodness.
Yeah, it was. He's doing fine, but he was still recovering from that. Of course, he has scars on his head from the surgery.
What, according to you, did she say about it?
Oh, they were sticking, he's kind of self-conscious. He likes to be a little GQ, and he had some that were sticking up, and she was talking about his stitches sticking up, and said he had psoriasis on his head.
That's not what
March
happened.
15, 2017, 17-year-old stepson rode the bus to my home on his mother's custodial time. He said mom had said repeatedly she never wanted to see him again, and that his mother and Kim had repeatedly cursed him, thrown tea on his homework, called him racial names, made him sit back with his back to the TV while his favorite movies played until 1:30 a.m. on a school night. Told him he was never going to be anything. He was going to jail, he would only be a drug addict and worthless when he grew up. He was afraid to go back, and Kim was abusive and had his head down to the ground while sitting on top of him. I was worried she would come to my home. Did that happen?
No.
Okay.
What happened was Adam had a tablet, and we had the defendant and her fiance and my partner all knew Adam had an addiction to electronics. He was told not to take him to bed. I didn't even deal with that situation. Rose dealt with that situation. And he wasn't put in front of a TV to his back to his favorite movies. He kept staring at the TV, and there's a chair in our living room. So she sat him in it and sat in front of him and talked to him. And I did not put him in a stranglehold. He yanked my arm, and when he did, I fell on him. And after that,
How long were you sitting on him?
long enough to get up. Adam is a strong boy and in weightlifting. I have no
I know,
reason.
but how does all this stuff come out? That means that Adam is mentioning it.
Yeah, he's
saying
also,
it.
Yeah, he mentions
So
his
is
dad
he
and-
lying?
No.
Okay.
He's manipulative, and his father knows that.
Okay.
That have
but
been
he's
documented.
saying this. So what is she doing wrong by mentioning this in her restraining order?
Because it's not the truth.
Okay.
And when she
February
states,
of hold on one second. Remember, we're summoned to the home of Rose Pyle by Kim. Something by Rose. She said she couldn't deal with the minor 16-year-old. We needed to come and get him. When we returned him, Kim came out and knocked on my window. When I rolled it down, she started screaming at the 16-year-old that he had told a lie about me to her and trying to be a confrontation. I was instructed by Derek to pick up the 12-year-old. Kim was at the bus stop, got Owen, walked him across the street, would not let him talk to me or tell me why she was doing this on Derek's custodial time. So I followed them to the driveway, and they still didn't look at me. She got Owen to the steps and turned and started screaming at me in a very aggressive fashion. Why? Your kids are going to hate all of you. All of you. Every last one of you is going to get hated. Every last one of you. Doesn't that matter to anybody? What is wrong with all of you? Why is this is like this one-upsmanship that just doesn't end, where everybody has to get a piece of everybody else, and every time y'all use the court systems like your personal batting cage. I mean, what do you think is going to be these kids' memories of you growing up? What do you think your Thanksgivings and your old age is going to be like? What do you think they're going to think about you when they're parenting? What example have you all set?
we set the best one we can.
I think you need to take a breath, okay? Because what I've got to decide is, are all these things false, and therefore it's malicious prosecution, and therefore you should get $1,500 because you should never have had to hire a lawyer. But you just saying so doesn't make it malicious prosecution. You have to be able to prove it to me. And, you know, when I ask you, well, how would they even know that you ended up sitting on him for a second or whatever it was, your answer is, well, that kid's manipulative. Okay, but they did not make it up out of whole cloth. The kid said it. So tell me how you plan to prove. One way to prove it is for the kid to come in here and say, hey, I never told her that. She just made that stuff up. Unless you can show that, how is it I'm going to order her to pay your legal fees? Because if you did do this stuff, or if the kid said you did some of this stuff or whatever, then what is malicious about the prosecution? She went to court like she has a right to say, I want this person to leave me and mine alone. Me and mine. Leave me alone, because that's all that request for a restraining order says. I'm afraid, this is what happened, this is what she says to me, this is, you know, she keeps coming to wherever and screaming and saying this stuff. Do you have that on video, that stuff you talked about a second ago?
I have, you couldn't see who it was
Yeah,
that was
but
talking.
you can hear what the person's saying?
Yeah, but I didn't bring that.
Oh, what a shame. I would have loved to have heard that.
I'm sorry.
What is
No,
it
you
you're trying
wouldn't,
to
really.
give me now?
It's all just really sad. I have some witness statements.
Let me see the witness statements. You have a $5,000 claim against the plaintiff for mental anguish, time wasted, and lost wages. Tell me about the mental anguish.
I spend a lot of time with Adam and Owen, and I know it's aggravating to Rose, but I take care of them as best I can. And I listen to them and I talk to them, and I try to be there for them. And it just seems always to be something. They ask me to come to a sporting event, and I go, and after it's over with, I got Kim coming at me.
Coming at you how?
She screamed at me. She was saying that I was trying to, I was supporting Derek and trying to get Rose fired from work.
But where physically or on a phone or on a, what do you mean
She
by
was coming at me. I was up in the bleachers with
She was at
other
is
people.
this before the order was entered saying she can't come to any more events?
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
And she was screaming at a parent. Her and Rose somehow or another ended up coaching Owen's soccer team. And after it was over with, it was Owen's day to have snack, and he was so excited about giving out his snack. So I was videoing him and Derek and giving out the snacks. And she, all of a sudden, I heard her beside me screaming, that girl's trying to get my phone number. I'm like, what? She's got a drug addict kid, and she needs to be at home taking care of her own kid instead of trying to be somebody else's mama. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, it's just always something. And so I have the Child Protective Services reports from the things that she's done to Adam. And
Let me see those.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, corporal punishment, forgetting about the law, is it beneficial or harmful to a kid?
I think it's beneficial.
Why?
That's the way I was raised, and I was raised with good manners and listening to adults.
Okay.
I think it's beneficial. If it's done softly, it's beneficial.
But if it's done that softly, who disagrees? Who disagrees? What do you say?
I disagree because I grew up with it, and it could be a hit and miss depending on how much it's towards you, basically.
Literally a hit and miss.
Yes, it's a hit and miss.
Going inside the courtroom.
Okay, this order was entered into in March of 2017.
one of them was, and then there's another one that was done in March of 18 where she went and choked him at work.
Where she went and what?
Choked him.
The older one?
Uh-huh.
So twice now, the court has said that you are unsafe to be around the children and you are neglecting your children by allowing her to abuse and demean the children. That's the situation that we have, twice now. I mean, this is, I'm reading an affidavit from the oldest one. Kim showed up at his job. I was left in the front office with Kim, and I asked if I could leave, to which she said no. I proceeded to try to open the door myself, and she choked me and held my throat. And there's pictures of his throat really red.
It was one scratch, yes, it was, because I tried to push him off of me because he slammed me up against the wall to move me.
Why do you think that you are in a position to order around an 18-year-old boy who's not yours?
We were meeting, she was meeting me there to take him for a mental eval because he had an in-home therapy appointment where he had a mental breakdown. There was no discipline there. And ma'am, there were hickeys all over his neck, so there should have only been one scratch. So I'm not sure of the pictures. Because I don't even know if we have that picture. But there was only one scratch, and all of the witnesses from Lowe's said that that scratch had left his neck before he left his shift at 7 o'clock.
You have so many things to defend.
No, this stuff
and
happens,
so
but
many
it's the way it's
people
told.
saying things against you. And it just would seem to me to be a better idea for you to stay out of things.
Ma'am,
Like-
I've been out of things for 2 years.
Yeah. Ms. DeRusha, you're in the unenviable position of having to prove to me that all this stuff are lies. And instead, each and every time that I find another additional piece of proof of problems, you tell me, well, that's a lie. Well, this is a lie. Well, Adam is lying.
No, I never said Adam was lying. I said he's easy
I'm sorry.
manipulative.
You
and
said these were
manipulative.
hickeys and not you grabbing his throat and leaving
They
a mark.
were. We have the
Okay, well, he's saying you grabbed him by the throat, and you said that that didn't happen. That
No,
you
I
were
did
just
not.
trying to get out because he was slamming a door on you. That's not what he says happened. So either you are lying or he is lying. They can't be the same way.
He's accused his father of
Ms.
abuse as
DeRusha,
well.
I find that you have not proven to me that
Wow.
all of the allegations made by the defendant were false, such as that she should be held to have been maliciously prosecuting and therefore having to pay your legal fees of $1,500. On your counterclaim against Ms. DeRusha for $5,000 for mental anguish and time wasted and lost wages, I am not going to find in your favor. I don't believe that a mental this may be causing you a lot of mental anguish, but you have remedies at your disposal, and one of them is not for me to order her to pay you $5,000. I think that your remedies at your disposal are getting a restraining order, which you gave up on in January, but I guess I've revived now. So get it. And if anything else happens after that and there's an order in place, then pursue the remedies according to that order. That's your remedy. But I got to tell you guys, man, this is the memory that your children are going to have of you. And that should matter to you. It should matter to you. And you need to step up a little. How old is the other one now?
12.
And who has custody now?
I do.
But she has visitation?
Yes, ma'am.
How often a week?
4 nights every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. Listen, I wish all of you a lot of luck. On your lawsuit against her, I'm ruling in her favor, but in your lawsuit against her, I'm ruling in her favor. So 0 to both of you, but well wishes, all in all.
Well, in this complicated case, neither party prevails in the lawsuit. Yeah, we've heard all the details. The best thing to ask you is, what do you think happens now? What's your reaction to what just happened?
Hopefully it'll all stop on her side.
That'll keep you out of the picture, right?
I'm still gonna be with her.
Yeah, that's complex too.
And Owen loves me as well, so.
Well, we don't have proof of that.
No, Owen does love me.
It's a mess.
It is that.
What about what the judge said? What your children are going to think of you after all
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they're gonna hate all of us, rightfully so.
that doesn't bother you?
Oh, yeah, it does.
Okay. Well, good luck. Work it out the best you can. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Okay. Now here comes Melissa and the father. Let me ask you, what do you think about what the judge just had to say? I know this is tearing you up, isn't it?
Yeah, she's right. And it's sad. There's nothing else I can do about it. I'm there for them, and
You think the kids are going to grow up hating you?
Oh, no, I think I have a very strong relationship with my children. They may hate this situation, but
Yeah.
I don't think they'll. They know I love them, and that's all that counts.
Well, good luck to both of you.
Thank
Okay?
you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You're welcome. Sad story, Harvey.
So, Doug, the judge is not necessarily saying that the abuse happened. The judge is saying that the plaintiff has the burden of proving that it didn't, and she didn't prove it. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Terrence Nichols. He says he and the defendant were married, and she co-signed for a new truck for him because she made more money. And as they headed towards divorce, the defendant stole the truck from him while he was sleeping. The only reason she did it was because he served her with papers seeking spousal support. She didn't like that and is now trying to royally ruin him, which isn't fair. He's suing for $2,500, the amount he's owed. This is the defendant, Tiffany Nichols. She says the plaintiff's a scoundrel who she discovered had been cheating on her for 5 years. They separated, and when he missed a payment on the truck, the bank called her. She didn't want her credit to be ruined. Her lawyer told her to repossess it, and here they are. Bottom line, this guy's down and out. She's a disabled vet with veteran compensation and benefits, and the plaintiff's trying to get some of her money. She's accused of stealing an ex's truck. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $966.95 for a cell phone the plaintiff maliciously put in her name.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. These litigants were married. She was the breadwinner. She got him a car, and then he says she stole it. She says he ruined her credit. It's the case of if you think marriage was bad.
Douglas,
You're welcome, ma'am.
Terrence Nichols?
Yes.
You are suing Tiffany Nichols for, well, she's still your wife, right?
Yes.
Okay, for $2,500, half of a car deposit that you put down that has now been repossessed. You have a counterclaim against him for a Samsung Galaxy 8. Okay, let me hear from you.
Well, in January,
How long have you two been married?
for 15 years,
How long have you been separated?
for 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Yes.
Do you have children together?
Yes,
How many?
we have 3.
What ages?
13, I believe, 11, and 7.
Okay, so go on.
In January, the vehicle that I had previous to the vehicle that we had bought, the engine, it started to go, so I needed to off the truck as soon as possible. So I asked her if she would help me get this vehicle.
By doing what?
She was supposed to be the primary on the loan because she had the income.
And what was your income?
My income is only $183 a month. Plus, I was getting help from family and friends to help me pay the vehicle.
Right. Why was your income only 100 and something a month?
I'm disabled.
And are you legally disabled?
I'm waiting for the hearing. So no, I'm not legally yet. And I contacted the defendant, and she agreed. Well, she didn't want to agree at first because everything that happened, we were separated.
You were co-signing and you were the primary on it?
I was the primary, yes, ma'am.
Why would you agree to that if you know that he's not making any income?
I didn't, well, his girlfriend was helping him, so I knew that she would help him.
Who's the girlfriend? Are you the girlfriend? Okay.
But originally why I did it was because my kids were crying. They missed their father. They couldn't see him. With my disability, it's hard for me to drive back and forth to the city, the long distance, so I couldn't drop them off as much as possible. And I cared about my kids' hearts, and they were sad, so I just,
How are your kids' hearts right now?
Right now, they're not that good.
Exactly. Like their parents are suing each other. Like,
They
you know,
don't know.
that's not
Yeah.
good for the kids' hearts. Because it was kind of predictable that he wouldn't be able to make payments. So why? Why do that? And if you're going to help him, why not just help him by getting him a hoopty? Why does he have to have, what kind of car did he end up getting?
2015 Ford Explorer, I believe.
Why? Why does it have to be that?
Unfortunately, I thought...
You weren't thinking.
No, I
Because
wasn't.
you ended up getting yourself involved in this complete mess. And then, so let's see how I got this right. You end up with her at the dealership.
Yes.
You both sign.
Yes.
And how much do you put down?
$4,000.
How much did she put down? Did she help you too?
$1,000.
All right, and she put her name. Is that accurate? Did you put $1,000 towards it?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I the only one that saw that this was a bad idea? That it was
No.
heading straight to the toilet for everybody?
My mom told me not to help sign for a car, and unfortunately,
I understand your desire to help, but he doesn't need to have a 2015 Ford. Why can't he just have an old car that gets him around to visit his kids?
It's a good question, ma'am.
What year car do you drive?
2014 Kia Sedan.
Oh, so he had to have a newer one than you.
He's always had to have newer.
No, he doesn't. He may have always had it, he just doesn't have to. How long did it take you to not pay?
I made the first payment. I have a receipt proving that I made the first payment. And I called the bank and I let the bank know that I was going to be coming in on a certain date to make the previous payment.
So you didn't make the second payment?
I didn't make the second payment, no.
When was the payment due?
It was due on the 23rd of April,
And when did the car get repossessed?
May the 17th.
Okay. So by May the 17th, you still hadn't made the payment.
I was going in on the 18th.
Ooh, isn't that mysterious, right? How long do you think the bank is as naive as the mother of your children is? How long did you think the bank was going to sit around and wait for the payment?
It wasn't the bank that took the vehicle. It was the defendant that called and told them to come and pick up the vehicle.
Right, and then they took it. So it was the bank that took the vehicle.
Well, yeah.
Okay. And so what did you think, that banks don't take vehicles? Have you ever had a car loan before?
Yes,
Okay. And why couldn't you do it on your own again?
because I don't have a job.
Okay. How's your credit?
It's not horrible, but it's not great either.
How do you get bad credit?
For not paying bills that once we left, I know, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now, do you place a phone call to them regarding, hey, pick it up, I don't want to be, how does that work out?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to contact him to see if he was going to make the payment, but he sent me texts when we became not amicable, stating only contact me about the children, and it's that way.
When did you become not amicable? One day you're co-signing loans and getting your name on a car with him, and the next day you're not amicable. What happened?
Because he told me, because he gets DSS, they explained to him that he needed to either take me back to court for spousal support, or they would. So, which I was kind of confused.
Back it up. Mm-hmm. Say that again. He gets DSS. What's DSS?
Department of Social Services. He gets food stamps and money.
And so they said that he should take you back to court for child support.
For maintenance.
For spousal support.
Yes, ma'am. But he doesn't pay child support or anything. But they said that he had to go back and ask.
In order to keep his DSS, he had to go back.
Yes.
He could choose to not do that. But,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. And I asked him.
So
I said,
he filed against you for spousal support?
Yeah,
Not child support,
No.
spousal support.
Yes, ma'am. I asked him. I said, well, since your girlfriend works and she lives with you, and your mom
Yeah,
gets Social Security,
that should be included in DSS.
So he said
So
no.
did you file against her for spousal support?
I did.
The woman who just co-signed a loan for you for your car so you could visit your kids?
But there was more that happened before I filed the spousal support. When I went there to pick up my children on April the 20th, she pretty much went up one side of me and down the other in front of my children.
For what?
Because I was taking her for spousal support. She pretty much.
Okay, so then that didn't happen before the spousal support. So tell me what went into your thinking when you had just obtained a car that you asked her to not only co-sign, but that she is part owner of.
Yeah.
And you had nobody else to turn to. She's who you turn to. She had done you this tremendous favor, thereby exposing her credit to be the garbage that your credit is. And then, what, a week later, you sue her for spousal support? Do I have that right?
Yeah, kind of.
Sounds like garbage when I say it, right? Yeah. Mother of your children.
So, would you ever co-sign for a car for your ex?
Yeah, absolutely. Probably won't be like a Maserati, but maybe an '84 Honda that passed all the security checks.
But is it dicey to do that with an ex you divorced?
Yes, absolutely.
Would you ever do it? They really needed it.
Yes.
Oh, sucker, going inside the courtroom.
So, you call the bank. Tell me how that goes. I'm dying to hear it. You call the bank and you tell them what? Hey, this guy doesn't have a job. I don't want my name on. Like, well, why do they say okay? I'm kind of curious.
Okay, so since I couldn't contact him to ask him when he was going to pay it, I called my lawyer to say, hey, this is what's going on. I don't know if he's going to make a payment. I can't contact him to find out if he is. She said, okay, well, do what you need to do. So I called the bank, tell them, listen, since he hasn't made the payment, don't know when he is, can you just go ahead and can I have it voluntarily repoed? And they said yes.
Okay. So now the car is about to be sold, or it was sold?
It's supposed to be auctioned.
Okay. Are you supporting him?
Well, I don't support him. I help him.
Well, if he's making 100 and something, you're supporting him. I don't know how to break it to you. You have a counterclaim against him. Amount owed for Samsung Galaxy S8. Tell me about that.
Before I found out that he cheated on me for
Is that
5
why
years.
you guys separated?
Yes. He cheated on me for most of the marriage, but I found out from her when I looked through his cell phone records that he was cheating for 5 years.
Wait, she told you?
Yeah.
How did this come about? How did you catch him or find out? She called you?
No, one day he was just acting weird, and usually when he acts that way, he was cheating on me.
Really? So this is a pattern?
Yeah. So I started looking through the cell phone, found her number over and over again. I called her, and apparently he tricked me one day to say that he had a girl that's a friend, and he told me to text it or something. So I said, oh, you have a girlfriend. So she thought that I already knew about her, and I didn't. I know, it's crazy. So that day, I came home and I kicked him out, and since that day, he's been taking me to court after court after court, saying that he's owed.
Why then, if he takes you to court after court after court, why would you co-sign for the car?
He was, for a while, we were amicable. He was being so sweet. We were involved, unfortunately.
What does involved mean?
Having sexual intercourse together. For a
Apparently
while.
that's a new one on you, huh? You didn't know that? Ooh.
For a while, and
You fly in that car on the way home.
and he, that's how he got me to soften up. And, told me he really needed the car. And my kids were crying. They're like, they miss their dad. They haven't seen their dad. I'm the kind of
Would
mother.
you like to respond to that?
The being intimate part or whatever she said involved is not true. That's not true. That's never happened.
Doesn't matter. Honestly, I don't even care I just wanted you to know why I did it.
Has a ring of truth. Has that little ring of truth. I hear a lot of people lying, a lot of people telling the truth, and I kind of have a ring in my ear.
Yeah, we're still married, and unfortunately, I don't know. He talked me in after, softened me up that way to get in the car.
You still shouldn't. It's just, these are bad decisions. on
Yeah,
your part. And apparently
one
the
after
kids
the
are going to
other.
have to be relying on you.
Yeah.
Right, so maybe you need to start making some good decisions.
Well,
All right, what happened with the phone, though? So
the phone, when before this happened, I changed my password online and everything. He figured it out. He got a new phone without telling me.
How, though?
He just ordered it. He just ordered it right online.
In whose name is the account?
Mine.
So how was he able to order it if you changed your password?
He figured out my password.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So I didn't know he had a new phone until after he left.
Who was paying the bills? How did you not see it on the bill?
The bill came in the next month, and that's how I found out.
Oh, because it all happened in one fell swoop?
Yeah. But besides that, he ended that same month he took $300.
So what happened with that phone?
That phone, the Samsung Galaxy S7, she's the one that told me that I can upgrade. I had a
No,
older phone.
physically, where is that phone?
That phone, I sold it. Actually, it wasn't a
The
sell,
phone
it
that
was a
was
trade-in.
on her account that she has to pay for month by month, you sold it. Wow.
So now I'm paying for that too. And unfortunately, he's trying to turn my son against me.
Yeah.
So it's been crazy.
Okay, here's how it's gonna go, folks, in case this is any big fat surprise. On the half of the car deposit, because Terrence, you think bad things shouldn't happen to you. Yeah, bad things happen. When you don't pay for the car, you lose the car. Yeah. And it's your fault the car didn't get paid for. So whether she did it maliciously or righteously makes no difference. Nobody could do it to you if you hadn't done it to yourself. And stuff that happens isn't always someone else's fault and responsibility. So, no, she doesn't have to pay you boo. Now, I am going to tell you guys that something's going to come up, or something may have already come up at this point. Because if there is a surplus, then money is going to be paid probably in a check to both of you. It's going to have both your names on it. And if there isn't a surplus, then money is going to be owed by both of you. So this is still an issue that's going to need to be handled in divorce court.
I'm going to end up paying for it.
Well, don't be so, but you know what? Stop making it so easy for people to walk all over you. How's that?
Yes, ma'am.
On behalf of your children, stop making it so easy for people to walk all over you.
Yes, ma'am.
Fight a little.
Yes, ma'am.
You know? And on the phone, you're going to pay her. Show me the receipt for the phone that he sold out from under you.
I just have the collection notice from the phone. It's been so long, they don't have the original information for me.
Yeah, but how do I know this is for the phone?
That's the information that they gave me.
Right, but I need to know that it's for the phone. So you're going to need to provide me with evidence of how much is owed, because I'm not going to make him pay for actual phone bill that's not his. I need to know that.
Yes, ma'am.
And I also see that it says discounted offer.
Yes.
So if there's a discounted offer, I'm
I'll
going to
take-
order him to pay the discounted offer. If he
Yeah.
doesn't pay it, then, you know.
Absolutely.
Okay? So I find that you are entitled to the phone based on the fact that I believe you, that you had no idea that he in an unauthorized fashion ordered it. And I also find that you are not entitled to sue her for you having lost your car because you didn't make your car payment in over almost a month. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, the judge finds for the defendant in this case, Mr. Nichols, not a good day for you in court, was it?
No, it's not a good day, but I'm just glad that it's over and I can move on.
Are you two in divorce proceedings? Have you filed?
She served me with divorce papers. Now it's just a process of getting everything done. So
I wonder why she waited so long.
She's holding on to false hope.
Holding on to false hope? Yeah, but you're in the picture.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything in court today?
Yes, I did.
Do you believe her?
No, I can't say as if I do, because she's been caught in lies before.
Really? Seems pretty honest,
Yeah.
I must tell you. All right. Interesting ride home, as the judge put it in court. Like to overhear what the conversation is. All right, Ms. Nichols. You got some good advice from the judge.
Yes.
Fight a little bit.
Yes.
You think you'll do that?
I will. I'm a nice, happy-go-lucky person, so I hate when people are upset, and I need to learn to fight for myself, yes.
You do.
And I don't lie, so I have a horrible conscience, so I can't lie like that, so.
I'm sorry you're having so much problems.
Yeah.
All right, I hope your kid's okay.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about them, so.
Okay, good enough.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much,
Thank
okay?
you.
Okay, hate to sound harsh, but there's a reason people get divorced, and usually it's because they don't get along, and when you don't get along and somebody asks to help you out, better think twice.
Don't text and drive. The People's Court is a Ralph Edwards, Stu Billett production.